Madness has been around, you know, since biblical times. It's been around forever. Isaac Newton, Salvador Dali.
What's this show for?
It's Radio 4's All in the Mind about stigma and the diagnosis of schizophrenia. A lot of people don't find the diagnosis helpful.
Since I've been presenting All in the Mind, I've lost count of the number of times we've reported on the woeful inadequacy of some of the treatment and support given to people who experience psychosis. 2 years ago this month, the Schizophrenia Commission concluded that people were being badly let down by a dysfunctional system. Damning stuff. We've discussed before the impact of funding cuts on services, but how about the whole approach to psychosis and the way it's viewed by both service users and mental health professionals? I'm joined by Nikki Mattox, an anti-stigma activist with Time to Change. And from our Salford studio, I'm joined by Antony Scally, the author of Eyebrows and Other Fish. What was it like to receive a diagnosis more than 20 years ago?
I was diagnosed with schizophrenia and I was told I'd be on some sort of medication the rest of my life. My mother was told that I would never be the same again. On a personal note, I've often felt like a square peg in a round hole. I don't hear voices. I'm not sure which diagnostic tick boxes I've ticked, but I don't think a diagnosis of schizophrenia is required to treat somebody that has psychotic events. And they are events, I don't think they're symptoms.
And was there something in particular about that label of being told you had paranoid schizophrenia?
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that needs to be changed because of the connotations. I mean, schizophrenia, if you look at it literally, in the Greek, it's split mind, but that's not what it means. It doesn't mean we're split into two personalities. If that were the case, it would save me on bedroom tax, you know.
Now, Nikki Mattox, you're 17 years old. What's it like for you hearing what Antony's experience was when he was treated 25 years ago and was told his diagnosis like that?
I can relate to it quite a lot because when you're given this label, it's hard to relate to it, I think, because I always thought, well, I'm a person, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm me. It's just sad that people are treated as mental health problems rather than people.
And what sort of attitudes have you experienced from other people since you've been having help?
I've experienced a lot of stigma and discrimination, especially around the fact that I experience like hearing voices. People have told me that I must be a murderer or I must be being told by these voices I experience to kill children. I just don't understand because I might hear voices, but I'm not a violent person, and it just doesn't change who people are, so yeah.
Anne Cook, we've heard two experiences there of what it's like being given a diagnosis, and in this new report that you're publishing this week, how much does this whole issue of diagnosis feature? I mean, sometimes we hear on the programme from listeners who are relieved to have a diagnosis because it explains what was happening. It gives them some kind of explanation. Other times, as Antony.
It's been quite an eventful day, hasn't it?